Ladies and gentlemen. So, Arknights' new standard banner is here. Featuring Michael Jackson and Amazonian engineer, I suppose. Is this banner worth pulling, especially after you have possibly gone all out in the recent limited banner? Well, first, let's see each of the operators that are featured. First we have Gnosis. Gnosis is currently our only 6-star Hexa supporter. Specializes in dealing cold or freeze. But since his usefulness is tied to those two effects. If the enemy is immune to frozen or even cold, which is rare, and if it does, it usually happens on bosses, his usefulness will drop significantly low. But all in all, compared to other units that can deal with similar effects, he's the most reliable option we have. From his talent 1 alone, he can deal cold from his every attack, and apply fragile if the cold enemy is in range, and double the fragile if they're frozen. Which makes Gnosis a good damage amplifier. Provided the enemy can be frozen. If not, Suzerain or even Shammer are preferable. Normally, because of the cold duration and his attack interval, you can't freeze an enemy from his normal attack alone. But give him enough attack speed buff, he can be an absolute game changer. This is usually useful in SSS mode, or IS mode. Meanwhile, his talent 2 isn't all that impactful. Especially if there's no negative status present, it's straight up useless. But still good to have if you stumble upon negative status heavy stage. And use plenty of colon operators. For skills, skill 1 is the next attack type that deals more damage and hits twice. And also guarantees most targets to get frozen. Skill 2 almost does the same, with it mainly used for dealing with multiple targets, with a bit more duration for the cold or frozen. Skill 3 is arguably his most used skill, often used to deal more damage against bosses, or to stop enemies from moving for a while. This skill can freeze almost every enemy in range. The frozen duration lasts until the skill ends, which makes it a great damage amplifier skill. And Gnosis also deals plenty of damage once the skill ends. Overall, Gnosis is a great supporter, and the only reliable guy if you need cold or frozen. But much like the case of other supporters, Gnosis is best to get or build once your DPS unit is already well built. If you are still lacking a unit with good firepower, the 6-star beside him could provide that. Or better yet, the upcoming new 6-star sniper. For the 6-star beside him, and the one that should be the shop operator, is Eunectes, our one and only duelist defender. In this day and age, I don't recommend Eunectes, especially for newbies. For one, she only blocks one enemy, and acts more like a guard than a defender. And because of her trait, it's difficult to charge her SP. Even when you got her module that mitigates her archetype drawback significantly, it still can be a pain to charge her skill. Not to mention it means a newbie will have to take quite some time, or a big sum of resources to get her to E2, and unlock her module. But enough about the negatives. For talents, her talent 1 will give her buff depending on her current HP. And talent 2 adds a nice SP recovery bonus, that only active when she's blocking. For skills, skill 1 is pretty much a skip, so let's see skill 2. This one will boost her attack, and stun all blocked enemies until the skill ends. As for skill 3, nothing too unique. But it gives her plenty of bonuses from big attack and defense. And now recover some HP every second. This skill also stunned her for a bit, which may or may not be a problem. But the apparent problem with this skill is of course the SP cost. Without our module and SP support unit, charging this skill can be troublesome. For the 5 stars, I'll keep it short. Aosta should be the shop operator. And the most recommended 5-star here is definitely La Pluma. But if you already have a saint with a big iron on his hip, I don't think she's necessary, unless you need someone in the lower rarity. Luna Cub is pretty useful, while her attack isn't all big. But the fact she can always be in camouflage certainly has its use. As for Aosta, he's quite problematic, and only shines when attacking an blocked target. So he's not necessary to have. So, should you pull this banner? Honestly, I think you should skip. For new players, the 6-star are not too newbie friendly. And for the 5-star it's probably just La Pluma, who will be truly helpful in early chapters and with only low investment. Veterans or players with an already good roster could probably use Gnosis. Sadly he's not in the shop, so you'll have to spend some pulls here, which I recommend you to save as upcoming new operator banner, and perhaps future standard banner will be much more worth it. That should be all. Adios.